Hi, I'm Tanobia Mark, and for my final project on religious experience, I chose religion Judaism, and I picked a service that was held on a Saturday morning, which on the title it said it was a Shabbat service. So when I was examining, going through YouTube, trying to find a service to watch, I noticed that most of the services for Judaism are either held on a Friday night or a Saturday morning, and the attire was what people say is your Sunday best, but in this case it was a Saturday morning's best. And everyone had on suits, dresses, attire like that, but the rabbi had on a talit, was like a little scarf, and all the men during the service had on their yarmulkes on top of their heads. The service started off by a band playing, little background music, a little singing. Everyone was mixing and mingling. What I did notice from watching the service, that all of the music is in Hebrew. All the songs are sung in Hebrew. The worship style gave way of prayer. They did a lot of praying during the service, and they also did a lot of the worshiping through singing as well. While listening and gathering information and notes from the service, God was only mentioned a few times. It was only mentioned when the rabbi first began reading the scripture from the book, from the Torah to be exact. The scriptures that the rabbi read from was from the Sefer Bamidbar, the book of Numbers, and he said it was one of the most carefully constructed books from the Torah. So the rabbi began the sermon part of the service, and he read strictly from the book of Numbers. He read exactly what was going on, and he kept saying our ancestors, our ancestors. He kept referring to the ancestors that the book was referring to. And so the name of his sermon was The Absent Space Between Two Verses. And he kept saying, what is the Torah not telling us? Because the sermon that he was giving was a continuation from the sermon from this previous sermon. Because the sermon before, the scripture before, and the scripture that he read from in this particular service all kind of connected together. But he focused on the time frame that was in between the two strips. The time period that has passed was 38 years, and his main focus was trying to deliver what isn't the Torah telling us. And I kind of had to compare it to my experience in a black church per se. Like when a pastor reads the scripture, he gives like a message and a lesson to help people through like hard times, motivation, to help break down what is being said and kind of bring in a more present tense understanding. But from this, it was kind of more like a summary. He just pretty much summarized what he read, and kept repeating what is the Torah telling us. I guess trying to get the congregation to think and develop, kind of get their juices flowing, to understand, get ideas of what the Torah could actually be telling them. So after he gave his sermon, the service continued, and they went with the Torah chant from the Parata Kuta. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, which was chapter 20, verse 7 through 9. It was a prayer, and someone got up there and they read the prayer. And then then they continued on with another prayer for the people who were in the first 30 days of mourning. And then this prayer was from page 294 for the mourners, all in Hebrew, and this prayer was all in Hebrew. After that, the children were asked to come up to the Bahim to lead in the Kishinta Mostis. It was with a loaf of bread, a brioche loaf of bread, and it was the blessing. And they finished off with singing another song in the Hebrew. Thank you for listening and watching. This was my final report on religious experience. Thank you.